Part 44. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 431. Chapter 431 A Real Sword. Xiaoha's eyes instantly became extremely frightened when he heard this. The new owner can actually hear what he is thinking? Qiao Ningxun smiled. Yes, now I can not only understand what you are saying, but also know what you are thinking. Wouldn't it be that if I am not careful, I will expose the old master's secret? Qiao Ningxun was stunned. Old master? Are you talking about the master before you came to my house? Yes. Qiao Ningxun raised his eyebrows and said, Who is your old master? Xiaoha didn't dare to look into Qiao Ningxun's eyes for a moment. I can't say, I can never say that my old master is Chu Yanyi. Qiao Ningxun was stunned. Is your old master Chu Yanyi? Xiaoha rolled his eyes and started to pretend to be dead. It's over, the old master will definitely skin me if he finds out. What kind of incredible ability is this? Human beings are too terrible. Qiao Ningxun asked again, You haven't answered me yet. If you don't tell me, you won't tell me even if you are beaten to death. By the way, she can also read minds. I can't think about anything. I just want to eat right now. Upon seeing this, Qiao Ningxun no longer forced it, and gave it the meat and bones in the space to eat, and then sent it back to Deguo village. Lying on the bed, she looked at the ceiling. She found Xiaoha in the mountains. Later, she took the initiative to find Chu Yanyi and asked him if he was his dog. Chu Yanyi said he didn't know him, but Xiaoha also said he was the old master? Could it be that Chu Yanyi didn't want to raise it at the beginning, so he deliberately said that he didn't know it? But knowing that Xiaoha has a big appetite, he was worried that his family would not be able to support him, so he deliberately gave them money to support his family. Perhaps for other reasons that she couldn't guess. Chu Yanyi definitely didn't deliberately put Xiaoha at her house to create opportunities to get close to her because he liked her. When Xiaoha came to her house, they had not met a few times. It was impossible for Chu Yanyi to like her. Chu Yanyi really went too far. He said he wouldn't raise Xiaoha if he didn't want to. No wonder Xiaoha was not very happy every day when he first came to her house. Qiao Ningxun took out her mobile phone and sent a message to Chu Yanyi, Xiaoha is your dog, right? Chu Yanyi, who was in a meeting, saw the news and shook his head helplessly. As expected, she guessed it? Yes. Why didn't you raise it in the first place? I'm just keeping it temporarily, and I'm not its real owner. Its real owner is you, and I just let it come back to you. Qiao Ningxun, why do I feel like I suddenly can't understand what you're typing? Chu Yanyi, you will understand after a while. Have a good rest. I will pick you up for dinner when I have time. Qiao Ningxun, I'm trying to hide myself again, okay, I'll listen to you. At night, Qiao Ningxun returned to Gushigo to practice. Anyway, with her current magical ability, she can complete the round trip in an instant. 5 minutes later, Qiao Ningxun's soul returned to the place above the ancient city wall where it was last time. It's still the same man and woman as last time. Similar to the last plot, the two started fighting without saying a few words. The only thing was different this time. When the man's sword was about to stab the woman, the man controlled the sword in time and did not stab the woman's chest. The woman seemed unaware that the man's sword was out of control and questioned the man. The man continued to explain. The woman did not stay, she seemed to be very disappointed with the man, and flew away quickly, and the man also chased after her. But the woman left a barrier, and the man could not break it for the time being. He could only watch the woman fly away. At 4 o'clock, Qiao Ningxun opened his eyes. I actually dreamed about the dream from last time again, and I was able to catch it. But that woman is okay, that's great. Just like last time, she still couldn't hear clearly what the two of them were arguing about. At this moment, Qiaoningsun felt that the sword on his chest was a little warm. After taking out the sword, looking at the light emitted from the sword, a mantra actually flashed in her mind. She tried to recite it once, and then she saw that the sword in her hand suddenly disappeared, then appeared directly in front of her, and expanded to the size of an ordinary sword. Qiaoningsun was extremely shocked. This is really a real sword. She stepped forward, held the sword, and swung it a few times. She felt that there were many more sword skills in her mind. She tried swinging it a few times, and it actually felt as if the sword belonged to her. The swing was extremely natural and not unfamiliar at all. How is this going? Does it mean that you can learn swordsmanship by holding this sword? Doesn't that mean that she is now a martial arts master? Qiaoningsun smiled with satisfaction and returned the sword to its original size. That's right, there's nothing wrong with being good at swordsmanship. Just, does Chu Yanyi know the secret of this sword? If you knew it, then Chu Yanyi would definitely be a cultivator of immortality. But if she didn't know, her secret would definitely be exposed if she asked directly. In this world, no one can be trusted except yourself and some fathers and mothers who truly love their children. After thinking for a long time, Qiaoningsun didn't think clearly whether he should ask or not, so he simply didn't think about it. Let nature take its course. The next day, Qiaoningsun and He Yuanhui visited Huaxia University under the guidance of He Yuanyang. Although the semester has not yet started, Huaxia University is very tolerant and allows students to live on campus during the summer vacation. Some are preparing for exams and some are working part-time, so there are quite a few people in the school at this time. They live very close to the school, so they walk there directly without driving. He Yuanyang has good grades, is tall and handsome, has joined the student union, and has good grades. He is considered a man of the hour in the school. So when they saw him walking with a man and a woman on campus, everyone who knew him was very curious and looked in his direction from time to time. He Yuanyang brought someone back to school who are the boy and girl. I don't know, could they be our junior students? Maybe so, but it's also possible that he's his friend. But that man looks a bit like He Yuanyang, could he be his family member? It's very possible that the two people do look alike. Shenboyu happened to be near the school gate. When he saw He Yuanyang coming with his younger brothers and sisters, he also walked over. Ningxun, Yuanhui, you are here. Qiaoningsun smiled and nodded. Brother, you came very early. Shenboyu, yeah, it's okay to be idle at home. Why not come over early and play with your classmates? How about it? Huaxia University is good, right? It's a big place. Do you want to take a sightseeing bus? Otherwise, your feet won't listen tonight. Your own command. Qiaoningsun nodded, okay. He Yuanyang, I have no problem. The group got on the sightseeing bus and visited the school. Qiaoningsun had been to Huaxia University in his previous life, so there was nothing strange about it. However, in order not to spoil the interest of her cousin and senior brother, she still acted like it was her first time here and asked some questions from time to time. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 432. Chapter 432, Lu Jing's request to be reincarnated with past memories. He Yuanhui was very excited. Before Qiaoningsun gave him extra lessons, he had never thought that he could study in one of the best schools in the country. Everywhere he looked felt strange at this time. He Yuanyang saw his younger brother's expression and smiled helplessly. After you sign up, you can watch it often. From now on, you can watch it every day until you get tired of it. He Yuanhui smiled naively. Shenboyu suddenly asked, by the way, where do you plan to live? On campus or outside? Qiaoningsun, it's better to live in the house we bought, it's more free to live outside. Although she has several magic weapons to help her practice, she still cannot stop her own practice. It is more convenient to live by herself. Huny, I also live outside. Shenboyu, then you should prepare your real estate certificate when you start school. Huaxia University has very strict management of students and does not allow students to rent houses outside. However, those who own houses locally will not be restricted. Hiyuan Yang, yes, I almost forgot to tell you. Qiaoningsun and Hiyuan Hui nodded at the same time. Huaxia University is very big and is still under expansion. Even if they took the sightseeing bus, it took them a long time. At noon, Shen Boyu invited them to dinner. It was hard to resist such hospitality, so Qiaoningsun's 3 brothers and sisters did not refuse. After lunch, Shen Boyu said, after signing up, there will be military training. It will take half a month. The ultraviolet rays are still very strong now. Please pay attention to sun protection. Qiaoningsun, well, we have prepared sunscreen. She made it herself, and the effect is first class. Hiyuan Yang added, the military training at Huaxia University is not in the school, but at a special military training base. You will be asked to prepare your personal belongings. You can prepare in advance in the past 2 days. Especially for girls, it is not very convenient to wash clothes in the military training base. Some things are better to use disposable ones. Qiaoningsun understood the meaning of his cousin's words and nodded, okay, I will prepare it in the next 2 days. So after returning, Qiaoningsun and Hiyuan Hui prepared things needed for military training. Although Guan Yiwen and Wei Dongchen haven't arrived yet, Hiyuan Hui bought their things together after talking to them. The day of registration will soon come. Hiyuan Yang also came to help today and took them through the procedures, so the 4 of them did not waste any time and completed the registration and payment smoothly. Wei Dongchen and Guan Yiwen do not have real estate in Beijing and can only live on campus. Qiaoningsun and Hiyuan Hui had nothing to do anyway, so they helped them carry their things to the dormitory. Yan Mengrui and Xie Qianqian are also responsible for receiving new students in the department today. Yan Mengrui had been paying attention to Hiyuan Yang, and saw that he was particularly enthusiastic about Qiaoningsun and Hiyuan Hui, and his face was very ugly. Xie Qianqian looked at the information of the 2 of them, and suddenly smiled and said, it turns out they are really juniors, and they are in the same department as us. Mengrui, don't think too much, their ID cards and addresses are all they belong to the same village or the same house. They are probably brothers and sisters. Yan Mengrui was stunned, what did you say? They are brothers and sisters. Xie Qianqian nodded, look, their addresses are exactly the same. Yan Mengrui took a closer look. She had seen Hiyuan Yang's home address. Sure enough, the addresses of Qiaoningsun and Hiyuan Hui were the same as Hiyuan Yang's. Yan Mengrui suddenly breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, it seems that Hiyuan Yang did not say that Qiaoningsun was his girlfriend that day. I was just overthinking it. Xie Qianqian, yes, I heard that Hiyuan Yang has a biological brother who was adopted by relatives at home. Hiyuan Hui's name is one character different from his, so he must be her biological brother. The guardian's surname filled in by Hiyuan Yang is Qiao, and the girl's surname is also Qiao, she is probably the cousin he mentioned before. Yan Mengrui looked resentful, it must be, Hiyuan Yang is too bad. He actually deliberately made me think they were a couple, which made me sad for several days. I haven't eaten much these days and I have lost weight. 4 or 5 pounds. Xie Qianqian said flatteringly, it would look better if I were thinner. Yan Mengrui was coaxed into feeling very comfortable, that's right. Qiaoningsun was visiting the dormitory when he suddenly received a WeChat message from Chu Yanyi. Cousin, I have something to do. I won't have dinner with you at noon today. I will go back by myself in the evening. Hiyuan Yang asked with concern, can you do it alone? There are a lot of human traffickers now, and his cousin looks like he is recruiting people, so he is really worried. Worried that those who target her will be dealt too harshly by her. Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, "Don't worry, I have friends in the capital." After saying that, she ran towards the door. He Yuanhui looked at his cousin's back with a solemn expression. "Brother, why do I feel like my cousin is in love?" Her expression just now was like someone in love. He Yuanyang said, "If you're in love, just fall in love. She's so powerful, nothing will happen to her." He Yuanhui, "But she comes with me every time she comes to the capital. In my memory, she has no friends in the capital." He Yuanyang, "Then it should be about the investment company. She also has investments in the capital." He Yuanhui suddenly realized, "That's it?" Chiao Ningxun quickly arrived at the school gate. When he saw the familiar Rolls-Royce, he quickly walked over. As soon as he passed by, Chu Yanyi lowered the car window and said, "You're here, get in the car." Chiao Ningxun nodded. After getting in the car, she asked, "Are you free today?" Chu Yanyi, "I will have more time in the future. I am a senior and there are very few classes in school." Chiao Ningxun sighed, "You are already a senior. I think you were only a freshman when we first met." Chu Yanyi, "Yes, time flies by quickly." After saying that, he started the car and drove forward. Chiao Ningxun asked, "Where are we going?" Chu Yanyi, "After eating, I would like to ask you a favor." Chiao Ningxun asked, "You're too polite, what are you doing?" Chu Yanyi, "Help me save someone." Chiao Ningxun, "Okay, no problem." So after the two had dinner, Chu Yanyi drove directly to the Lu family villa in the suburbs. When they arrived, Lu Jing'ai was already waiting for them at the door. Lu Jing'ai saw them get out of the car and quickly stepped forward. He was very embarrassed and said, "Ningxun, I'm going to trouble you today. Apart from you, I can't think of anyone who can save my father." Chiao Ningxun asked doubtfully, "Your father? Are you from the capital?" Lu Jing'ai nodded, "Yes. Although he has a special origin, he was reincarnated with memories of the past. But after all, the Lu family's parents were the ones who allowed him to come into this world smoothly, and he still didn't want anything to happen to them." Chiao Ningxun, "Okay, don't worry, he will be fine as long as I'm here." Lu Jing'ai, "Sorry to trouble you." After speaking, he led the way. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 433. Chapter 433 Lu Yangxiao. Chiao Ningxun observed the surrounding situation as he walked. The Lu family villa is located in the suburbs of Beijing and covers a large area. The appearance of the villa is also a Chinese-style building, which looks very grand. Although the Lu family is not as good as the Chu family and the Suo family, it seems to be very high in the world rankings. Chiao Ningxun suddenly asked, "Lu Jing'ai, I remember when we first met, you said that Chu Yanyi was your cousin. Are you really related?" Lu Jing'ai was stunned, and suddenly said with an embarrassed look on his face, "Of course we are not relatives. I just said it casually at that time." In the words here, Chu Yanyi has a superior subordinate relationship with him, that is, his leader. Whether it is in the past or now. Butler Lu was coming down from upstairs. When he saw Lu Jing'ai coming back with his friends, his face suddenly lit up. He quickly stepped forward and said respectfully, "Young master, you are back." Lu Jing'ai did not miss Butler Lu's expression just now. He frowned and asked, "What's wrong?" Butler Lu glanced upstairs uncomfortably. "Yes, it's the old lady who came here with her children and asked your father to distribute the inheritance immediately." You came back just in time. Come up quickly. I was just about to call you. If it were too late, the eldest grandson of the Lu family would probably have nothing. Qiao Ningxun frowned. She couldn't calculate Lu Jingai's past and future. Could it be that Lu Jingai's grandmother didn't like him and wanted to take possession of her son's inheritance? Or give it all to the child you prefer? Lu Jingai looked helpless. I understand. As soon as the group walked up the corridor on the second floor, they heard a sound coming from the room in the distance. Boss, just listen to me and transfer the company's shares to your brother. Your two children, the eldest Lu Jingai, have not cared about the company's affairs at all since he left Zhenhua. He doesn't want to manage the company at all. And your younger son only knows how to play every day, so what does he know? Your brother is in his prime and smart, so only he can manage the company well. Lu Yangxiao lay weakly on the bed, with a very ugly expression on his face. The Lu Group, when I took it over from my father, was just a small company with an annual income of several million. Being able to become one of the top 500 companies in the world now is the hard work of Lu Jingai's mother, and my wife also died suddenly from overwork for the company. Even if I have to give it to Lu Jingai, I will give it to Lu Jingai. Lu Yanja is in his prime. He is 1 year younger than Lu Jingai. Could it be that Lu Jingai is in his twilight years? Wu Xiaoying frowned and said, "You are my son. If she marries you, then everything belongs to you. Your company is my company. If I ask you to give it to your brother, you must give it to your brother." Lu Yangxiao sneered, "I won't listen to you. It's useless if you bring a lawyer here today. I made a will long ago. Even if something happens to me, the shares in my hand will only be divided into two. As the eldest son, Lu Jingai must be the heir to the company. As for the person you said is my brother." Lu Yangxiao glanced at Lu Yanja. "He is your son, but he is not my father's son. Although his surname is Lu, he is not from my Lu family bloodline. I only allowed him to join the Lu family for your sake. Don't think you want my Lu family's company to be advantageous to outsiders like this." Wu Xiaoying's face changed. "Boss, we agreed before that you are not allowed to mention your brother's life experience again. He was born as a member of the Lu family, and died as a ghost of the Lu family." Lu Yangxiao glanced at his younger brother, who was staring at him with a sullen face. "If he doesn't covet my property, then I won't mention it again. Otherwise, even if the company's stock price drops, the Lu family will be shameless, and the dead father will be under Jiquan no peace. I don't mind telling the story about you too." Wu Xiaoying knew that she was too tough, so she could only soften her tone and said, "Boss, Lu Yanja is also your biological brother, and you are both born to me. Lu Jingai is now in Zhenhang, and I heard that he is also one of the directors. Apart from the mysterious chairman, he is the biggest person in the company. He hasn't graduated from college yet, but he already earns a lot every year, enough to support himself. But your brother doesn't have a job yet so far. He has been spending my money. I don't have any shares in the company, so I just rely on the filial piety money you gave me. But I can't support him all my life. He must have his own things to do. Lu Jingai is already rich enough and has a good future. Zhenhua is much bigger than the Lu family. You might as well give the company shares to Lu Yanja. He will think of you well. If you really die in the future, he will go to your grave every year, no, every month, to burn incense." Lu Yangxiao mocked, "Do you think you have arranged it well? Have you ever thought about how I feel? I am still alive, and you are looking forward to my death. Do you think you are a real mother?" Just as Wu Xiaoying was about to say something, she saw Lu Jingai walking in with two people. Seeing Lu Jingai, Wu Xiaoying had a bad premonition in her heart and said angrily, "What are you doing here? The doctor has said that your father is only here for the past 2 days. You don't know how to protect your father and still be with you. When you go out with friends, do you still know about filial piety?" She didn't know why. Although Lu Jing'ai was her grandson, she just didn't like him, just like she didn't like his mother who died long ago. As for Chu Yanyi, she only knew that he was Jungsuan's person, but she didn't know that Chu Yanyi was actually Jungsuan's actual controller. Lu Jing'ai knew that the old lady didn't like him, and he didn't like her either, so he said in a very cold tone, "I'm not like you. My father is not dead yet, so I'm waiting for him to give you the shares of his illegitimate son. As his son, of course I'm going to find someone who can save him." Wu Xiaoying suddenly laughed as if she had heard some big joke. "Save your father? Even the doctors in the capital said that your father can't be saved, but I don't believe it. There is still someone in this world who can save him. In my opinion, you are anxious just because you heard that I am back. I tell you, Mr. Lu, I will never agree to give it to you unless it is in the hands of your uncle." Lu Jing'ai sneered, "Of course my father's company can be given to whomever he wants. But it will be impossible for him to get it into the hands of your son in this life." After saying that, he looked at Jiao Ningxun and began to introduce it as if he was provocative. "Ningxun, this is my nominal grandmother. My grandfather just died, and she actually had an affair. Even if she cheated, she still gave birth to a cowherd. The child. What's even more unfortunate is that Nialang died as soon as the child was born. The child beside her was named Lu Yanja. He could be said to be my father's half-brother, but neither my father nor I recognized him." End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 434. Chapter 434 Bone Cancer. Jiao Ningxun cooperated and made a surprised expression. Wu Xiaoying was furious, pointed at Lu Jing'ai tremblingly, and shouted sharply, "You, how can you say that to me? No matter what, I am also your grandmother, and Lu Yanja is also your uncle, how can you say that about him?" Lu Jing'ai said with a nonchalant look, "If my friend wasn't here, I would be afraid of dirtying her ears. I haven't said anything worse yet." "You," Wu Xiaoying breathed rapidly, "you evil son." After saying that, she looked at Lu Yangxiao, wanting her eldest son to make the decision for her. "Boss, you have seen that Lu Jing'ai's behavior shows no respect for his elders. If the company is handed over to such a person, he will definitely leave. It's going downhill. Just listen to me and give the company to your brother. He will definitely be able to manage it for you. His surname is Lu now, and his father is dead. He thinks of himself as a member of the Lu family." Lu Yangxiao didn't think anything was wrong with Lu Jing'ai at all, and asked unceremoniously, "He was just telling the truth. In the past, some customers misunderstood that Lu Yanja was my father's child. When they later found out the truth, the guests were extremely embarrassed. Now tell me clearly in advance, what's wrong with it? Are you afraid of what others will say if you dare to do it?" Wu Xiaoying choked up and continued, "I am his grandmother after all. Anyone can speak against me, but he cannot. Lu Yangxiao, do you treat him like a grandmother? Have you ever fed him? Have you taken care of him for a day? Have you ever spent a penny on him? He wasn't born by you, so why can't you say that you?" Jiao Ningxun suppressed a smile. This Lu Yangxiao is really a protector. That's right, she admires this kind of character. "You." "That's enough," Lu Jing'ai said coldly, "I didn't come here to argue with you today." With that said, he asked Jiao Ningxun to step forward. "Sorry to trouble you." Jiao Ningxun nodded. Lu Yangxiao saw a little girl taking his pulse and said doubtfully, "Jingyi, she is." Lu Jing'ai said, "Dad, this is the miracle doctor Jiao Ningxun I told you about. I wanted to invite her here before, but you said you were much better, so I took it seriously and didn't invite her. But now your situation, if it gets worse, we must receive her treatment." Lu Yangxiao nodded. "Little girl, I'm sorry to trouble you. Uncle Lu, you're welcome. After Jiaoningsun finished speaking, he continued to take his pulse seriously. Lu Yangxiao greeted Chu Yanyi again. Seeing that Jiaoningsun was very young, Wu Xiaoying stepped forward and pulled her away. Don't touch my son casually. If something happens to my son, can you be responsible? Lu Jing'ai suddenly stood beside Jiaoningsun and said with a stern face, Wu Xiaoying, don't you want to save your son? Are you going to sacrifice my father for your illegitimate son? Wu Xiaoying frowned. I've been wanting to ask you since just now, what do you call me? Lu Jing'ai sneered, Wu Xiaoying, your reflex arc is really long. You have hated me extremely since I was born. You don't even recognize me, and you still expect me to call you grandma. You're dreaming. You, Wu Xiaoying was furious and shouted loudly, Lu Jing'ai, I am your grandmother. How dare you do this to me? If what happened today gets out, you will never be able to take over the Lu family in the future. Lu Jing'ai mocked, then you don't need to worry. My father can live for at least 50 years. In these 50 years, he can find a suitable heir. But there is one thing I want to say in front of you. If you mother and son are not right, if Mr. Lu takes action, I won't take action against you either. As long as you dare to do anything to harm my father or Mr. Lu, don't blame me for being rude to you. Chu Yanyi and Jiaoningsun can now be counted on, and his backstage is still very strong. Wu Xiaoying couldn't bear it anymore and rushed forward, wanting to give Lu Jing'ai a few slaps. Seeing Wu Xiaoying's hand waving towards him, Lu Jing'ai sneered and suddenly pinched her wrist. You want to hit me? Are you worthy? After saying that, he pushed Wu Xiaoying back and slapped Lu Yanjia, who was watching the show, with his backhand. Lu Yanjia touched his beaten face in shock, as if he couldn't believe that Lu Jing'ai really dared to hit him. Having experienced what happened in the past, he did not dare to interrupt casually and stayed quietly nearby for fear of annoying others. I didn't expect that even though he kept such a low profile, he was still beaten. Chu Yanyi had been paying attention to the situation here, and when he saw Lu Jing'ai taking action, a smile instantly appeared on his lips. Jiaoningsun also paid attention to Lu Jing'ai out of the corner of his eye, fearing that he would suffer a loss. Seeing that he was not the weak person she imagined, she continued to check his pulse carefully. Wu Xiaoying quickly protected Lu Yanjia behind her and shouted, Lu Jing'ai, he is your brother-in-law, how can you beat him? Do you still have any sense of superiority in your heart? Lu Jing'ai said coldly, Elder? Honor. He is an illegitimate son. Is he worthy? Do you mean to say that he is the eldest son and I am the youngest? I am the eldest son and grandson of my original wife. I have the blood of the 8 classics of the Lu family's main son. The status of an illegitimate child is not comparable. Wu Xiaoying, are you old and confused? As the reincarnation of the ancestor of the Lu family, he is an old ancestor. Let alone beating an illegitimate child, even if he kills Lu Yanjia for the Lu family, God will not say anything wrong to him. You, Wu Xiaoying pointed at Lu Jing'ai, her whole body shaking with anger, even if he is not from the Lu family, he is still your grandma and my biological son. Lu Jing'ai said impatiently, I made it clear to you today that I don't recognize your illegitimate son, my father will not recognize it, and the Lu family will not recognize it. It is my father's kindness to allow him to come and go from the Lu family at will. Although his surname is Lu, but the registered permanent residence is not here. From now on, it's okay for him to be an honest man. If you let me know about your plan to fight with him again, I will break his legs and throw him into the mountains and forests to die. Lu Yanjia suddenly shrank his neck. Wu Xiaoying's eyes widened, how dare you? Lu Jing'ai said coldly, you can try it and see if I dare. Wu Xiaoying gritted her teeth, thinking that Lu Jing'ai worked for Junhang, and Junhang was not a company she could afford, so she had to temporarily stop her activities and look at Jiaoningsun. She couldn't believe that she was just a little girl. She could really compare with famous doctors who were ranked among the best in the world. Famous doctors all said that Lu Yangxiao was hopeless. Seeing Chiao Ningxun withdrawing his hand to feel his pulse, Lu Jing'ai asked worriedly, "Ningxun, how is my father?" "Chiao Ningxun, it's bone cancer, right?" Lu Jing'ai, "Yes, can you cure it?" Chiao Ningxun, "Yes, yes, you can treat it now. I also brought a lot of herbal medicine this time. After today's treatment, take the medicine and herbal medicine I gave you for a week, and your body will recover soon." Her magical formula has unlocked the elimination function. All she needs to do is recite the formula to eliminate the cancer cells. It is easier than eating. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 435. Chapter 435 Mistress. There is no need to control the temperature of cancer cells first and then kill them as before. As for taking her medicine, it was just to help their bodies recover as quickly as possible from the pain. Before coming to the capital, she had prepared a batch of medicinal materials. The medicinal materials in the capital are not unusable, but they are definitely not as effective as the medicinal materials she has induced. In order not to ruin your own brand, it is better to use your own. Lu Yangxiao had his eyes closed all the time. Hearing this, he suddenly opened his eyes and said in shock, "Little girl, you mean I only need a week for my body to recover?" Chiao Ningxun nodded, "That's right." She said that a week was conservative, so 4 or 5 days should be enough. Wu Xiaoying sneered and said, "You liar, even if you want to lie to people, you have to learn some medical skills before you can lie to people. A week? The doctor has said that he is hopeless and will die in 2 days. You actually said that he can live? It's a fool's dream." Chu Yanyi suddenly looked at Wu Xiaoying coldly. The old man of the Chu family was dying before, and the doctor said he was hopeless. Why do you think he still appears on TV so often now? Wu Xiaoying was stunned. She knew about the illness of the old man of the Chu family, and said in disbelief, You mean to say that the stinky girl cured him?" Chu Yanyi turned his head and did not answer. His meaning is very obvious, anyone who is not mentally retarded can understand it. Lu Yangxiao thought that the old man of the Lu family had cancer before, and then suddenly became active in everyone's field of vision, and said with hope, "Little girl, I'll trouble you, let's start now, okay?" Chiao Ningxun nodded, "Let everyone go out first, I'm going to start acupuncture." As she spoke, she took out a disposable silver needle from her handbag. Wu Xiaoying frowned and said, "I won't go out and let her, a girl, stay in the same room with my son. Who knows what will happen?" Lu Jing'ai didn't waste any time and pushed her and her son out directly. After Chiao Ningxun and Lu Yangxiao were the only ones left in the room, he closed the door and motioned to the 2 bodyguards to stand beside him, "Just stay here for me. Except for me and Chu Yanyi, anyone who wants to go in will. You don't have to be polite, just give me a beating. If anything goes wrong, I'll be responsible for it." Bodyguards, yes. Wu Xiaoying and Lu Yanja could only stand by reluctantly. They prayed secretly in their hearts that as long as Chiao Ningxun made a mistake and they saw Lu Yangxiao's body when they went in later, they could send Lu Jing'ai and Chiao Ningxun to prison together and never see each other again. It's just that their hopes are destined to be dashed. 5 minutes later, Chiao Ningxun opened the door. "Wu Xiaoying will go in immediately. How can it be possible to cure a disease in just 5 minutes? It's not like she hasn't had an injection before, it will take at least half an hour for the effect to be effective. And can patients with advanced bone cancer be saved just by acupuncture?" She doesn't believe it. Chiao Ningxun came to Lu Jing'ai and took out various herbs from the bag, actually from the space, as well as the pills she made herself, and handed them all into Lu Jing'ai's hands. Then she took out paper and pen and wrote down the required dosage of each medicine. Give your father these medicines 3 times a day and let him drink them. After drinking them, he will be fine. Lu Jing'ai nodded and took the medicine carefully. Okay, don't worry, I will let my cronies keep an eye on the medicine and never let anyone who wants to harm him take advantage of it. Qiao Ningxun nodded and returned to the room. Lu Jing'ai and Chu Yanyi also went in together. Wu Xiaoying and her illegitimate son were blocked outside. They couldn't enter even if they wanted to. They could only watch helplessly at the door. Lu Jing'ai asked with concern, "Dad, how are you feeling?" Lu Yangxiao's face had improved a lot at this time, and he smiled and said, "I am indeed much more comfortable. My whole body feels lighter than ever before, and the parts of my body that have been hurting all the time, it doesn't hurt anymore. Miss Jiao is indeed quite capable." Lu Jing'ai breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, "She is indeed very powerful and has cured many difficult and complicated diseases." Lu Yangxiao, I heard everything you just said. Can I see the prescription given by Miss Jiao? Lu Jing'ai looked at Jiao Ningxun and saw her nodding, then handed over the prescription. Lu Yangxiao looked at it carefully and said, "Ms. Jiao, most of the medicines in this prescription should be for strengthening the body. If the patient takes these medicines, he can quickly regain his vitality." Qiao Ningxun raised her eyebrows and asked knowingly, "Uncle Lu, do you know medical skills?" Lu Yangxiao, I do know a little bit. After all, the ancestors of the Lu family have produced more than 10 imperial doctors. Therefore, the children of the Lu family must learn medical skills more or less. Qiao Ningxun, that's it? Lu Yangxiao, Miss Jiao, your medical skills are so good. I have never seen these prescriptions before. If you are engaged in the pharmaceutical industry, you will definitely make a lot of money. That is indeed the case. She has many ancient prescriptions in her hand. Now that she is admitted to university, she has more time after school. Before, her business and investments were all in real estate, stocks, etc. The pharmaceutical industry has indeed not been involved yet. The important thing is that her prescription is indeed very effective, and she can indeed get a share of the pie. No, it will benefit mankind. After thinking about it clearly, Qiao Ningxun smiled and said, "Uncle Lu, you should take good care of your health during this period. When you recover, I will come to see you again." Lu Yangxiao nodded, "Okay, I will come to thank you personally when the time comes." "That's okay, then I'll wait." Wu Xiaoying saw them coming out and immediately wanted to go in. Lu Jing'ai said coldly, "Wu Xiaoying, from today on, please don't come back to the Lu family. The father of your illegitimate son also left a house. You have a place to live, so get out." Wu Xiaoying yelled, "Lu Jing'ai, don't go too far, I am the mistress of this family. How rich can the cowherd be? It's just a house of 45 square meters. It is also an old community and the management is dirty and poor. She doesn't want to go to such a disgusting place." Lu Jing'ai sneered, "Mistress? The Lu family mansion is in my father's name. You don't have any property in your name. You don't have any shares in the Lu group. How can you say that you are from here, hostess?" Wu Xiaoying, I am your father's biological mother, and I am also your biological grandmother. Lu Jing'ai, the person who killed my grandfather is worthy of being my grandma. What? Wu Xiaoying's eyes flashed, I don't know what you are talking about. Obviously no one knows about this. Even Lu Yangxiao should not know, how could Lu Jing'ai know? Qiao Ningxun raised his eyebrows. It seemed that Lu Jing'ai knew the truth back then. One of the reasons why Lu Jing'ai's grandfather died was because he ate a dish cooked by Wu Xiaoying herself that day. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 436. Chapter 436 The Suo family's property. Mr. Lu was already weak at first. After eating it, he suffered from vomiting and diarrhea for a day, and his body couldn't bear it anymore. Not long after, he passed away. The Lu family knew that Mr. Lu was ill at that time, and they did not believe that Wu Xiaoying would harm Mr. Lu, so there was no autopsy and the body was buried according to normal procedures. Lu Jing'ai, okay, let me make it more clear. If Grandpa hadn't eaten the food you cooked, he wouldn't have died. And you specifically consulted many people to make that dish. He only found out about Chu Yanyi's magic power recently. Lu Yangxiao was seriously ill recently, so he didn't tell him about it. Wu Xiaoying was shocked and said, how did you know? Everyone who knows about this has obviously already. How could Lu Jing'ai know something that even Lu Yangxiao didn't know? Already dead, right, Lu Jing'ai sneered, there are many capable people in this world, and there are many people who know what happened back then. Next time, as long as you let me know that you appear near the Lu family, I will take advantage of you. Don't worry if you tell the truth, I have evidence, and I'll see how you behave when the time comes. Wu Xiaoying's face was ashen. Even if she was unwilling, she could only take her illegitimate son and leave. After leaving the Lu family, the two sat in the car. Lu Yanjia said unwillingly, Mom, are we really going to let this go? They came here today to force Lu Yangxiao to death and then take over the Lu group. I just didn't expect that Lu Jing'ai would come back suddenly, bring a miracle doctor with him, and reveal what happened to his mother back then. It is estimated that he will never be able to take over the Lu group. Wu Xiaoying said with a gloomy face, I won't let it go easily. Lu Yangxiao has bone cancer. The doctors said he won't survive. I don't believe that a little girl is really that powerful. They are probably just acting today. You wait, we will definitely be able to come back after Lu Yangxiao dies in a few days. Lu Yanjia had no other choice but to listen to his mother. After Jiao Ningxun and Chu Yanyi finished eating at the Lu family, they left the Lu family and sat in the car to check information. Chu Yanyi glanced at her mobile phone and said, Are you very concerned about what Uncle Lu just said? Jiao Ningxun, it's not that I don't care, I just feel that I have so many good prescriptions in my hand, and it would be too selfish if I don't use them to benefit the world. And you can still make money. She only has a few billion in hand, which is really not enough compared to those companies with trillions of assets. Chu Yanyi, Suo Shi is already rich enough, you don't have to work so hard. Jiao Ningxun, socks is socks, and I am me. If possible, I would like to found the Jiao Group. Chu Yanyi, that will be very hard for you. No one understands better than him how hard it is to keep the company in your hands on top of the world. Jiao Ningxun, it's okay. You should work hard when you are young, so as not to be overwhelmed when you are old. Although she most likely won't age. Chu Yanyi smiled and said, I think you will stay young forever. Jiao Ningxun was stunned, what did he mean? Is it true that Chu Yanyi is also a cultivator of immortality? After hesitating for a moment, Jiao Ningxun said, Chu Yanyi, since I wore the sword you gave me, I often have a dream. Chu Yanyi asked, what dream? Jiao Ningxun then recounted the situation in the dream, it's this dream. I've dreamed it several times, but I can't see their faces clearly. Chu Yanyi's eyes flashed, then rest more in the future. If you dream again, you should be able to see it. That's right. Jiao Ningxun nodded and suddenly asked, Chu Yanyi, do you believe there are people who cultivate immortality in the world? Chu Yanyi raised his eyebrows and said, of course I believe it. Jiao Ningxun was stunned, do you really believe it? Real? Then what do you think of people who cultivate immortality? Admire them, they are very powerful. They must have special opportunities to cultivate immortality. Then, if one of your friends is a cultivator of immortality, what would you think of her? What do you think? I'll probably pay more attention to her. Who knows if she will suddenly ascend one day? Well, that's right to think so. Chiao Ningxun hesitated for a moment, then asked, however, I want to ask you, was the sword you gave me really made by you yourself? If he really did it himself, then he must be a cultivator of immortality. Otherwise, how could the sword transform into a real sword? Chu Yanyi, can I not answer this question for the time being? Chiao Ningxun frowned. What does it mean not to answer? Could it be that he didn't actually do it, but that he said it deliberately just to please her? Is he someone who cares about this kind of thing? Seeing that she had stopped talking, Chu Yanyi asked again, what are your pharmaceutical companies going to do? Do you want me to help you? You have military training soon and won't be able to get out for half a month. I am now a senior and have a lot of time. Seeing him change the subject, Chiao Ningxun could only let him, it's okay, don't rush it now, wait until I get out of military training. You can send me to the nearest shopping mall now, I'm going to buy something. Chu Yanyi, okay, I'm fine, I'll go shopping with you. 10 minutes later, the two took the elevator upstairs from the underground parking lot. Chiao Ningxun was startled when she saw the advertisement in the elevator, this is Sox Plaza? The Suo family's property. Chu Yanyi nodded, yes, originally I wanted to pick you up at Junyu Square, but it's too far there. Chiao Ningxun said nothing more. She hasn't been to a shopping mall owned by Sox, so it's okay to come and take a look. The things girls like most are nothing more than jewelry, clothes, and cosmetics, so her goal was very clear and she went directly to the clothing area first. Although the Suo family customized a lot of clothes for her, she has no shortage of clothes to wear. But she still wanted to buy some clothes for herself. The feeling of having someone else's clothes delivered to her, and having clothes that you choose yourself, are completely different. Just when the shopping guide saw Chiao Ningxun's face, his expression suddenly changed. After saying a few words to each other, he stepped forward with great respect, Miss, do you need me to introduce you? Chiao Ningxun's eyes were always on the clothes, and he didn't notice the change in her eyes. He glanced at the suits on the counter and said, no need, I'll take a look first. The shopping guide nodded, okay, miss, just take a look and I will serve you if you need it. Chiao Ningxun, thank you very much. After saying that, she looked at the clothes seriously. As expected of a shopping mall in Beijing, the clothes are very beautiful. Of course, it cannot be compared with the one tailor-made for her by the Suo family. Thinking about it, she took the clothes one after another and handed them to the shopping guide. Chu Yanyi was sitting in the rest area, reading the various magazines provided in the rest area. The shopping guide saw that she liked her clothes very much, and her face was very happy. At this moment, Chiao Ningxun took a fancy to a skirt and reached out to get it. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 437. Chapter 437, Where did the country bumpkin come from? As soon as he got it in his hand, a girl reached out to hold the skirt and shouted arrogantly, I took a fancy to the skirt first, let go. Chiao Ningxun frowned. If this person had a better attitude, she would let him go. But seeing her attitude, she didn't want to let go. Suddenly with a slight exertion, the skirt was in her hand. Gao Weiwei frowned and said, give me back the skirt, it's mine. Chiao Ningxun smiled lightly and said, did you pay me? Just say that this skirt is yours. Do you want to lose face? Gao Weiwei snorted, didn't you give me money too? If you don't give me money, I can be its owner. Chiao Ningxun blinked, yeah, without giving money, anyone can be its owner, but now it's in my hands, why can't I be its owner? Gao Weiwei looked at Jiaoningsun from top to bottom. She didn't see what brand she was wearing, and said disdainfully, looking at your clothes, I can tell you're a country bumpkin from nowhere. You know the price of this skirt, don't pretend to be fat, it will be embarrassing when the time comes. Jiaoningsun glanced at the price tag on the dress and smiled lightly, I can still afford it for 4 figures. Gao Weiwei sneered and said, can you afford it? Then you give me money. I don't believe that you, a person who wears no-name brands, are willing to spend 4 figures to buy a skirt. Her family background is pretty good, but she doesn't have much pocket money. She is reluctant to wear brand name clothes all the time, so she doesn't believe that this country bumpkin is willing to give it up. Jiaoningsun was too lazy to talk nonsense with her. He turned around and chose a few more skirts, and then took out his bank card. But when she thought about the black card Suo Jingguo gave her, it said that consumption was free wherever she went, and the Suo family would be responsible for all expenses. I wonder if that was true? Thinking of the instructions given by Suo Jingguo and Suo Hongfeng when he came to the capital, Jiaoningsun put back his bank card and took out the black card given by Suo Jingguo. When the shopping guide saw the card, he was not surprised. He took it respectfully, did a quick operation, and handed it to Jiaoningsun, Miss, these clothes cost a total of 95,000. The card has been swiped. Please keep it. Jiaoningsun nodded and quickly put the card back into place. This card is really easy to use. At the same time, Suo Jingguo was in a meeting and said with a serious face, there are such big mistakes in this project. Each of you must be responsible. Everyone present did not dare to take a breath. Because of their mistakes, they caused heavy losses to the group. Although this money is small money to the group, it is a huge sum of money to them. Suo Jingguo continued, the person in charge this time will resign himself, and all the people under him will leave. The people present are like mourning for their heirs. Knew it? Suddenly, Suo Jingguo's cell phone lit up. He took it over and took a look. It turned out to be a text message notification from Jiaoningsun using a black card. There is no money in the black card. When it is swiped, it just records the transaction information. Seeing that her daughter finally used the black card he gave her, Suo Jingguo's heart suddenly softened. If his daughter is willing to use the black card he gave her, it means that she still recognizes him as her father, and his good daughter will come back to him sooner or later. From now on, he can announce to the world in a high-profile manner that he has a daughter who is 10,000 times better than Suo Jingsun. His daughter is not only a top academic, but also a miracle doctor. She can also do calculations and make money. Not just a second-generation ancestor who only knows how to spend money, but a genius who invested at the age of 16 and had billions of assets by the age of 18. The people below looked at Suo Jingguo's face cautiously, and at the same time they were puzzled. Chairman, what's going on? Feeling suddenly better? Has anyone solved that matter? Suo Jingguo put back his cell phone and looked at everyone with a gentle look on his face, this matter is neither big nor small. I spoke harshly just now. The accident happened too suddenly, and there is nothing you can do about it. Like this, okay, everyone's salary will be reduced for 3 months, and the year-end bonus will be halved. Everyone, keep working hard. If you make mistakes next time, I will really fire you. That's it? After saying that, he went to call his son. Everyone in the conference room was stunned. The chairman has always said what he says, and there is never any reason to take back what he says. They actually stayed successfully. What happened? Seeing everyone sitting motionless in the conference room, the chairman's special assistant frowned and said, "What? You still want to be scolded by the chairman? Do whatever you have to do." One person stepped forward and said, "Special assistant, what happened? The chairman actually let us go." The special assistant glanced at the door and whispered, "What can happen?" "The one who can make the chairman so happy recently is of course his daughter who just found him. His daughter must have done something, so he's so happy." Everyone suddenly understood and left with happy faces, silently thanking the eldest lady they had never met before. Suo Jingguo, for the sake of Jiaoningsun's safety, blocked all news related to her. But there were so many people at Jiaoningsun's college entrance banquet that day, and it was definitely not possible to silence everyone. For the sake of the Sox group, although many people dare not speak out on the surface, many people are talking about it privately. The employees of Soxlet Group are certainly no exception. Later, more and more people in the Suo group knew about it, and Suo Jingguo stopped keeping everyone quiet. Just issued a notice telling them not to slander Jiaoningsun. Even temporarily added this point to the employee code of conduct. If anyone does not comply, pack up your belongings and leave the company. If anyone sees someone talking about Jiaoningsun, report it once. The reporter will be rewarded 5,000 yuan this month, and the person who is reported will have his or her salary deducted. Hence, no one in the company dared to discuss Jiaoningsun blatantly. Gao Weiwei saw that Jiaoningsun had successfully swiped the card, and the amount was more than 90,000 yuan in one swipe, and said in shock, You actually bought them all. That card just now doesn't seem to be a bank card. It doesn't even have a card number. Jiaoningsun, what if? You think I'm here to visit? I don't have that much time." After a while, the shopping guide packed all the clothes. Chu Yanyi, who was sitting in the rest area, saw this and naturally stepped forward to help her carry it. Jiaoningsun said thank you and left without giving Gao Weiwei a look. That kind of person doesn't deserve too many looks from her. Gao Weiwei almost forgot to breathe when she saw the handsome Chu Yanyi next to Jiaoningsun. How could there be such a handsome man? And such a handsome man is actually the boyfriend of the woman who stole her skirt? The shopping guide next to her almost drooled when she saw Gao Weiwei, and she stepped forward politely, "Miss, we really only have one skirt here, but there are other skirts that are very beautiful. Do you want to take another look?" End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 438. Chapter 438 How do you know I like him? Gao Weiwei came back to her senses instantly and asked with jealousy, did that person really buy more than 90,000 yuan of clothes just now? Shopping guide, yes. The eldest lady in their company only bought more than 90,000 yuan worth of clothes, which is not a lot. The adopted daughter came here once before and would not leave unless she chose clothes costing millions. Even when they are unhappy, they will scold them. They suffered a lot of grievances from Suo Xingxin. Suo Xingxin once even said that when she took over the Sox group, she would fire them all. Although they are just shopping guides selling clothes in the self-operated store of Sox Plaza, they also receive wages from Sox Group. Soxlet Group has good profits and is ranked among the top 10 in the world. Its welfare benefits are notoriously good. They were worried for a long time when they heard that they were going to be expelled. Just not long after, news came within the company that Suo Xingxin had committed a crime and almost killed the serious eldest lady. Moreover, Suo Xingxin was still in jail. They were very lucky at that time and would not be fired by her. Today they saw Jiaoningsun, who was good-looking and polite. They felt that their adopted daughter was no longer good for anything. Gao Weiwei instantly went crazy with jealousy, and said with a distorted face, "Humph, he must have fallen in love with a rich man. He found a rich man to support him at a young age. He didn't know how to rely on his own efforts and only knew how to take shortcuts. I despise this kind of person the most." The shopping guide's face darkened. The leader said that they must protect their eldest lady no matter where and whenever they want. This lady, she doesn't need to take any shortcuts. She is the distinguished eldest lady of our socks group and a member of the Suo family. Her card is also from the Suo family, and all purchases at any place in the Suo family group are free. The eldest lady in their family doesn't need a sugar daddy at all. Gao Weiwei was startled and looked at the direction Qiao Ningxun was leaving in disbelief. You, what did you say? She is the eldest daughter of the Soklan family. Didn't the eldest daughter of the Soklan family go to jail? I also saw it in the newspaper. How could it be her? The two people look completely different. The shopping guide said coldly, you don't need to know the inside story. Anyway, she is the serious eldest daughter of the Suo family. Gao Weiwei instantly wanted to find a crack in the ground and crawl into it. Shopping guides all say this, and they are definitely right. She was in the socks group's shopping mall just now, mocking the eldest lady of the Suo family for not being able to buy 4-digit clothes. If people find out, she will lose the shame to stay in the capital. Thinking about it now, if that woman was really the eldest lady of the socks group, then she must be wearing custom-made clothes, so she couldn't tell which brand it was. She actually misunderstood that it was a little-known brand. If people knew that she thought so, they would probably laugh out loud. Looking at the other shopping guides, Gao Weiwei couldn't stay any longer and turned around and ran away. Shopping guides of socks group are all strictly trained people, and it is absolutely forbidden to talk about customers in private. So even if they despised Gao Weiwei in their hearts, they would not say anything. Even if you want to say it, you'll do it after get off work. After Qiao Ningxun and Chu Yanyi left, they went to the jewelry area and bought some more that they liked. Then he went to other areas and bought some things that were useful for military training. Gao Weiwei felt that she was unlucky. No matter where she went, she would eventually meet Qiao Ningxun. In the end, she had no choice but to buy nothing and left Soxlet Square as if running away. Qiao Ningxun and Chu Yanyi put her things back in the car. After eating, Chu Yanyi sent her back to her house in the capital. The third day after registration is the military training time. When registering, all freshmen were added to the freshman group. The counselor asked them to bring the necessary things, gather at the school's designated location, and then take the school's chartered bus to the military training base together. It was also at this time that she met most of the classmates for the first time. She also looked at the list in the group. She was in the same class as He Yuanhui, Guan Yiwen, Wei Dongchen, and Yan Yuxiu. Yes, Yan Yuxiu was also admitted to Huaxia University. He Yuanhui is just like in high school, his handsome face is very conspicuous as long as he stands in the crowd. Because Qiao Ningxun cultivates immortality, she eats vegetables and fruits ripened by her own immortality. Her skin is as tender as a peeled egg. As soon as she arrived at the gathering place, she attracted the attention of many people. Wei Dongchen and Guan Yiwen saw this and just sighed helplessly. Sure enough, popular people are welcome everywhere. The two of them had been running in the fields for a long time. After a summer vacation, they were as tanned as black coal. If he had been in military training for another half-month, Hay's family would probably not be able to recognize him. It was impossible for them to use sunscreen. It was such an expensive product. The cost of buying a bottle was enough for them to work in the fields for a day. Isn't it just a black spot? It's dark as long as it's dark, and it's not just the two of them who are that dark. Yan Yuxiu looked at Qiao Ningxun and whispered, "You are still so popular. I have seen all the other girls. They are not as beautiful as you, and their skin is not as good as yours." Qiao Ningxun smiled and said, "You're a compliment. There are really many beauties in our class. My skin is just better." Yan Yuxiu suddenly thought of something and hesitated a little, not knowing whether to say it or not. "Qiao Ningxun, if you have anything to say, just tell me. We've been at the same table for 2 years. Is there anything else we can't say directly?" Yan Yuxiu whispered, "You called me before and said that Zuo Hongfeng is your biological brother. Xiaoningsun nodded, yes. Yan Yuxia blushed, then, can I ask you and your eldest brother for an autographed photo? I, I have always liked him and regarded him as an idol. When I went on vacation during the summer, I kept talking to him. Related videos. Xiaoningsun thought it was something, so she suddenly reached into her bag, took out an envelope and handed it to her. Here, I have prepared it for you a long time ago. Even if you don't tell me today, I will give it to you. Yan Yuxia was stunned. You, how do you know I like him? Xiaoningsun gave her a helpless look. Have you forgotten how many times you showed me your idol's photo during recess? Yan Yuxia suddenly felt uncomfortable. Seeing that no one else noticed her, she quietly opened the envelope. Seeing that it was indeed a signed photo, and it was actually a photo she had never seen before, she almost fainted with excitement. Yan Yuxia's face was touched, her eyes sparkling. Ningxuan, I am really lucky to have you as a friend. How can I be so good? Because of your help, I was admitted to a university that I never imagined, and I have taken such a precious photo. I have decided that I will belong to you for the rest of my life. You can call me at any time if you need me. Xiaoningsun smiled and said, okay, that's settled. Don't regret it then. Yan Yuxia clapped her chest and promised, no, just because you are my idol's sister, I won't regret it. A new book has been released. After Rebirth, I Became a Yandere Metaphysics Boss has been released. It is still a live broadcast of metaphysics. Dear little cuties who like it, please support it. Thank you everyone. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 439. Chapter 439 Ganzaiao. Xiaoningsun frowned, it turns out I'm just a casual person, focusing on over friends. Yan Yuxia said anxiously, it's not by the way, I. Seeing that she couldn't explain her anxious words, Xiaoningsun smiled and said, okay, I'm kidding you, I don't know what you are like. If Yan Yuxia's character was not good, she would have stayed away from her from the beginning. Why waste so much time on her? Yan Yuxia breathed a sigh of relief and put the photo in the hidden compartment of the suitcase as if it were a treasure. Suddenly, a girl from the same class came to Xiaoningsun with an anxious heart and asked, this classmate, what is your name? Xiaoningsun took a look at the girl in front of him and said with dignity, hello, my name is Xiaoningsun. Xiaoningsun, the girl's eyes shone brightly as she asked, are you the one who entered our school with perfect scores? Xiaoningsun, my results are indeed full marks. You are so awesome. The girl immediately extended her hand, hello, my name is Ganzaiao, I am 18 years old and I am from Beijing. Xiaoningsun also shook her hand and said, hello, I am also 18 this year and I am from Nanjing. Ganzaiao smiled and said, I know it's our first time meeting you today, so it's very presumptuous to say this, but I really want to know, what kind of skincare products do you use? Why is your skin so good? 3 years of high school, in order to save more time for studying, she slept 5 hours a day, and her skin was very dark and rough. In order to train myself during the summer vacation, I worked part-time jobs for 2.5 months. I was exposed to the sun every day. Even if I applied sunscreen, compared with Xiaoningsun's face, I still looked like an ugly duckling. When other girls around heard Ganzaiao's words, they couldn't help but move closer to Xiaoningsun. There is no girl who doesn't love beauty, and her favorite thing is skincare tips. Xiaoningsun said softly, actually, I don't specialize in skincare. I just like to eat homegrown vegetables and fruits. She only put on a little bit of her homemade sunscreen today and didn't use any other cosmetics. Although she can use fairy magic to set up a barrier around her to ensure that her face does not get sunburned. But military training takes a long time, and using spiritual power all the time is a waste. If there are not enough critical moments, it will be troublesome. Her sunscreen works well too, so you might as well try it out yourself. Homegrown vegetables and fruits. Then she comes from the countryside. Some people from big cities who have a sense of superiority about their place of residence immediately stayed away from Jiaoningsun. What skincare secrets can a country bumpkin have? Does she have enough money to buy an expensive set of cosmetics? Having such good skin, I guess she is born with it. They are very knowledgeable about skin. Some people are naturally beautiful. No matter how late they stay up late or how much they sunbathe, even if they don't use skincare products, their skin is better than the average person's. Furthermore, some people's skin is still the same as it was when they were 20 years old when they are 30 years old. At the age of 50, the condition of the skin is similar to that in the early 30s. Jiaoningsun looked at the attitudes of those people and silently made a list in his mind. That's right, on the first day I screened out a group of people whom I would not waste time dealing with in the future. Gan Xiao was different from others. She only thought that Jiaoningsun was being modest. She raised her eyebrows and said, "I don't believe it. I heard about you from my relatives in Nanjing No. 1 Middle School. I heard that you also have medical skills. Is your skin in good condition?" Jiaoningsun pretended to be helpless. "I really can't hide it from you. I do know some ancient medical books. No matter how bad my skin condition is, I can still take care of it. However, I make money with my medical skills, so if someone comes to me for treatment, I will toll." The medical charges are normal. After Gan Xiao finished speaking, he suddenly looked at Jiaoningsun's eyes with envy, touched his own face, and then looked at Jiaoningsun's face again. Jiaoningsun smiled and looked at Yan Yuxiu. "Yuxiu, she is as cute as you." Yan Yuxiu's face turned red instantly. Gan Xiao continued to look at Jiaoningsun's face eagerly. Jiaoningsun smiled helplessly and said, "Okay, you are the first stranger in this class to talk to me. In that case, I will give you a benefit." As she said that, she took out a bottle of elixir and poured one pill out to her. "Here is this for you. Take one pill every day and your skin will become very good. I don't charge you any money, but if you use it in the future, if anyone comes to me for medical treatment, I will accept it." Many classmates looked at each other. Jiaoningsun came from the countryside and was good at medicine. She would still charge money for medical treatment in the future. Could it be that she was the kind of barefoot doctor who relied on ancestral medical skills that was often mentioned in the news? Some students took a few steps away from Jiaoningsun. Jiaoningsun raised his eyebrows, "Very good," and screened out another batch. Gan Xiao took the pill and smelled it, and said with surprise, "This medicine smells so good, it doesn't smell at all." "Jiaoningsun, if you believe me, just eat it." Of course Gan Xiao believed her. They were all classmates and in the same class. There was no need for Jiaoningsun to harm herself. She finally got into Huaxia University. Wouldn't it ruin her life? The students of Huaxia University are top academics with perfect scores in the college entrance examination, but they are not that stupid. So she swallowed it happily. Although Jiaoningsun had already figured out Gan Xiao's physical condition, he still motioned for her to stretch out his hand and take her pulse. It's better not to stay up late in the future. Although smartphones are rich in content now, staying up late every day playing with your phone is not good for your health. This is also one of the reasons for your bad skin." Gan Xiao said with a look of surprise, Can I call you Ningsun?" "Sure. Ningsun, you are really amazing. You can tell from the first pulse that I like to stay up late." Yan Yuxiu said with a proud face, "Of course my deskmate is great. I have been with her for 2 years. She is really capable. She cured the dysmenorrhea of many people in our class." She is very important to us. Ben, we are a famous figure in our school. Gan Xiao's eyes shone, oh my god, my classmates are so awesome. Qiao Ningxun just smiled. They said a few more words, the bus came, and everyone got on the bus. When we arrived at the military training base, we prepared to separate into dormitories. The dormitories at the military training base are definitely not as good as those at Huaxia University. After all, you come to military training to endure hardships, and it will definitely not provide a very good environment. Compared with the accommodation where Qiao Ningxun spent his military training when he was a child, this place is already much better. In the military training during her elementary school years, the military training base even directly arranged tents for them to live in. Dozens of people sleep in one tent, with one row on the left and one on the right after entering the door. It was September, the weather was hot, and there was no fan inside the tent. There is only one way for all students to cool down, which is to lie down in bed and remain motionless. Fortunately, I was so tired during the day that I fell asleep in the sweltering heat soon at night. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 440. Chapter 440 Introduction. Most of the dormitories at Huaxia University have 4-person rooms, with a bed and a table. However, if you are not short of money, you can also stay in a 2-person room, and all rooms have air conditioning. Qiao Ningxun was assigned to a dormitory with Yan Yuxiu, Gan Xiao, and 3 other unknown classmates. There are also bunk beds here. One of them was wearing a mask and never showed his true face. The names of the beds in each dormitory have been marked to prevent them from fighting over the lower bunk. Qiao Ningxun found her name and she was placed in the lower bunk. She went to look elsewhere. Very good, with private bathroom and water heater. Sufficient to meet their daily needs. Yan Yuxiu smiled and said, Ningxun, I'm sleeping on the bunk above you. It's great, we can actually sleep on the same bed. Qiao Ningxun's mouth twitched. In her eyes, do bunk beds count as one bed? She smiled helplessly, it's pretty good. Ning Liuhan found his seat and said displeasedly, why am I in the upper bunk? The upper bunk is so inconvenient. With that said, she looked at the name of the lower berth and said in a commanding tone, Qiao Ningxun, Gan Xiao, who of you will switch with me? I want to live in the lower berth. Qiao Ningxun really didn't like Ning Liuhan's tone, as if they had to change with her, and said in a cold tone, you can't change, you see, this bed has its own number, and each person's name corresponds to a number, if it is changed, it will be troublesome in the future. Gan Xiao originally wanted to say that it would be okay to change, as she liked the upper bunk, but after hearing what Qiao Ningxun said, she had no choice but to refuse. Indeed, everyone's corresponding bed must have been entered into the system. It is very troublesome to change it. Military training. If you make such unnecessary demands, you will definitely be scolded. In high school, someone in our class was scolded, and I don't want to be scolded. Ning Liuhan also knew that what they said was right and had no choice but to give up. It's so annoying. If military training hadn't counted as credits, she wouldn't have come. Looking at the dormitory in front of him, Ning Liuhan looked disgusted. Is this a place where people live? Look, the paint on this bed is peeling off, right? It feels like no one has lived in it for a long time. Another girl looked above her head and suddenly screamed, look, is that a spider? There are actually spiders here, and no one has lived there for I don't know how long. Others also followed her line of sight and saw that there were indeed cobwebs and spiders in the corner. At this time, the spider did not know whether it was dead or sleeping, motionless. Gan Xiao saw stools next to him, stacked them together, and stood on them with a broom, trying to get rid of the spider. We can't let this spider sit on top of our heads. When I was a child, I heard an old man say that if spider excrement gets on people's bodies, people will get sick. I'm not afraid, I'll do it. Xiaoningsun originally wanted to say that she could get it off, but when Gan Xiao volunteered, she couldn't say anything and helped her hold the stool. Yan Yuxiu also went over to help. The other three were afraid of spiders crawling on them and hid far away. But the spider was indeed alive. As soon as Gan Xiao passed the broom, the spider climbed onto the broom. Gan Xiao panicked and wanted to shake the spider off. After a while, the spider was smoothly shaken to the ground. Gan Xiao was about to step forward and slap the spider to death, but unexpectedly the spider suddenly ran towards the three people who were huddled aside. The trio panicked and immediately ran away screaming. In panic, the spider was crushed by one of them with a slap. Ah, my shoes are dirty, the smelly spiders are still coming to disgust me even after they die. Gan Xiao took a broom and swept the spiders into the trash can, and said helplessly, "Okay, they're all dead, so don't complain so much. It's just that the shoes are dirty, not the feet. Why don't you just wash the shoes, already?" The man frowned and suddenly looked at Gan Xiao. "My name is Ning Liuhan, what's your name?" "My name is Gan Xiao." Ning Liuhan said arrogantly, "You said it so easily, then you can help me clean the shoes. I won't let you wash them for free, so I will give you 100 yuan, okay?" Another girl was surprised and said, 100 yuan? Classmate Ning, your family is so rich? It's just a pair of shoes, and you are willing to give 100 yuan. Ning Liuhan enjoyed the look of admiration in the girl's eyes. She held her head high and said, "What's your name?" "Hello, my name is Zhang Sisi." "Classmate Zhang, it's only 100. My monthly living expenses are 50,000. My mother said, if it's not enough, I can ask her again." 50,000 yuan. Except for Xiaoningsun, the other five people were shocked. Zhang Sisi looked envious. "Classmate Ning, your mother is too generous. My parents' combined monthly income at home is only 20,000 yuan. Another poor guy. The poor guy is actually in the same class as her, which is really annoying." Although he was complaining in his heart, Ning Liuhan also knew that it was not easy to make enemies on the first day at school, so he said with a fake face, "Everyone's family income is different, you don't have to compare with me." After saying that, she looked at Gan Xiao again. "How are you doing? Do you want to wash it for me?" Gan Xiao snorted, "I don't want it. My mother said, you have to do your own thing. When you go to school, we are all classmates. Everyone is equal. It's not my dirty shoes, so I don't want to wash them." Ning Liuhan frowned and said, "But it's all because you got the spider off, so I stepped on it, and I didn't let you wash it in vain. Gan Xiao, I brought it down for everyone's benefit. Look, your bed is just under the spider web. I helped you solve the problem. You should thank me." Ning Liuhan choked and was speechless. Zhang Sisi suddenly said, Classmate Ning, I can wash your shoes for you, please give me the money." Ning Liuhan seemed to have found the bottom of the steps in an instant, and agreed without hesitation, "Okay, as long as there is someone to wash it with." Zhang Sisi smiled and said, "You brought a change of shoes, right? I'll clean the bed first and wash it for you later." Ning Liuhan glanced at his dusty bed and said, "Okay, but if you clean my bed again, I will give you another 100. Zhang Sisi's eyes shone. "Okay, then you can rest first and I'll do it." As soon as he finished speaking, the instructors pushed open the door that had not yet been closed. "Let me tell you the rules of the dormitory. I'll post them on the wall for you to see for yourself. Remember, you must not violate any of them, otherwise it will affect your graduation. Don't regret it then. In addition, the names corresponding to your beds have been entered into the system. You are not allowed to change beds with others at will. When the time comes, other people's faults will be blamed on you. Don't come to me to complain. Hurry up and do your hygiene in an hour, go out to the playground and assemble according to the classes. Everyone will wear military training uniforms. I will pick them up at the gate later. End of this chapter.